Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Boxing Out with Bailey. I'm your host, Bailey Eichner, and joining me today is professional women's soccer player and William & Mary women's soccer legend, Nicole Baxter. Nicole, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, we're very excited to have you. This past July, Nicole made her debut with the Sky Blue in the Challenge Cup for the National Women's Soccer League. She had an amazing career at William & Mary, finished up her senior season with All Colonial Athletic Association first team and United Soccer Coaches All Mid-Atlantic Region first team honors. Nicole, before I ask you about your journey and the Challenge Cup, I want to talk about your senior season at William & Mary. This team won the CAA regular season, got an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. You guys made it to the second round. Nicole, what was it like being on this team and playing for the William & Mary women's soccer program?
I had an amazing 4 years at William & Mary. I loved every minute of playing soccer at William & Mary, but my senior year was such a special year. I still think now having played pro and done all these other things, I still think my senior season is probably the highlight of my career. It was just such a good year for our team. We had such good team chemistry. We were performing really well, and we just had a really good group of people. And the fact that we were able to do so well was just icing on the cake for just such a good 4 years for me at William & Mary. And it was also a really good year for the CAA in general. And I'm a huge supporter of mid-majors and how they don't get enough credit. We had 4 teams make the NCAA tournament that year. And so that was pretty unbelievable. So really, I just had such an incredible senior year at William & Mary, and it's a large part of why I was able to continue my career.
Whenever I talk to anyone about William & Mary, they always talk about the people that they meet. How was your experience as a student athlete and growing those connections to get where you are today?
Oh, it was everything. People ask me about William & Mary too, and I think that the people just completely make the experience there. Obviously Williamsburg is a beautiful place, but you could pick that campus up and move it anywhere, and it's just the people make it such a good experience. And so from a friend and social standpoint, I had so many people there that I loved and that supported my drive to play a competitive game of soccer. But then also from a mentor standpoint, I had a lot of the girls who were older than me kind of paved the way in terms of how you should act and how you should behave and kind of the habits that you should have. And then on top of that, I had a really wide range of coaches at William & Mary. So John Daly was my head coach for all 4 years, but I had 3 or 4 different groups of assistant coaches, and they were all just they were all so helpful to me in different ways. So from my freshman year to my senior year, just the conversations I was able to have with them, and even after they would leave, I would stay in touch with these coaches, and each of them kind of helped me in different ways. So I would say the connections that I made at William & Mary are the main reason why I was able to continue my career professionally. And so I'm still in touch with all of the assistant coaches I think that I worked with at William & Mary. So really, I'm just I'm so thankful for William & Mary and the connections I was able to make just way beyond the soccer field.
I think I feel the same way about my assistant coaches. I feel that it's nice to be able to talk to your head coach, but then also go to your assistant for different ways to even go about a drill or just even life experiences in general. And it's really nice to even now that you still talk to them, and I actually look forward to this season, but also being able to have those connections after I graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But after you graduated from William & Mary, you attended the Sky Blue training camp before you headed over to Europe. What did you do in between training camp and then making your way over to Europe to play?
Yeah, so I had it wasn't a very straightforward road towards the pros. So basically, my senior year at William & Mary, I started training to attend some of these open tryouts, and I went to Sky Blue's open tryout and I did really well, and they invited me in for preseason. So I went into preseason and I got absolutely demolished. I felt like I was the worst player there. Like I felt like I was like really in over my head. And as much as I loved being in that environment, I was like, I just don't know if I'm good enough for this. So I actually accepted a full-time job offer in Washington, D.C. and I started working. So I was like working full-time for about like maybe 2 years before deciding to go overseas. So in those 2 years, I was kind of like working, sitting at a desk every day. I had some stuff happen in my life that I was just like, what am I doing? Like sitting at a desk when I feel like I still have so much to give to soccer. So I just like made the decision to start kind of playing again. And once I started playing and training again, I kind of realized that maybe at that time I didn't have what I thought I needed to succeed in that environment. But with the right training and the right help from people, I believed that I could get there. So I ended up quitting my job and pursuing soccer full time and training at this facility called AP2T. And it's a facility in New Jersey that's like full of really good professional and college players. And I started training there. And through that facility, I made connections that then got me an offer to play in Sweden. So it was kind of like this weird winding road that just like ended up working out really well somehow, some way. I have no idea how it happened, you know?
I am actually like very inspired because I feel like a lot of people get that kind of scare even after graduating. Being a student athlete, you're like, should I pursue my professional career or should I go into the workforce?
Yeah, especially with a school like William & Mary. We're a mid-major school, and like there aren't a ton of examples of people who leave William & Mary and go and succeed professionally. So I think I had it in my head that like it just was never in the cards for me. Like I had a couple players in my time who like went to open tryouts or went into camp with some players, but then ended up just like going and working and like totally loved it and whatever. And for me, it just wasn't the case. And I think I had like a little bit of like, I had to catch up on the mental side of the game because you have to learn to just like not doubt yourself or put yourself in a box before you even get there. So yeah, I just think it's really important for like people at schools like William & Mary or other like kind of middle of the pack, smaller schools to know that it's like really possible to pursue professional sports and that we shouldn't just like count ourselves out because we didn't come from one of these schools that like produces All-Americans or these big name players, you know?
I feel that as well, just because you had such an amazing career at William & Mary and you're going into the professional soccer and, you know, you're kind of at the bottom like you were when you come into college and, you know, you come from high school and you're the best in your class, in your state, you come to college and then everyone is the best. So you have to prove yourself. So it's kind of like, I agree with you on getting the mental aspect of, you know, I can do this and I can pursue my professional career. I just need to get, you know, my ducks in a row. And I feel like that's what you had to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was going into training camp, like playing with girls who I had once like followed on social media or like saw them playing for the national team. And I just like really couldn't believe the situation I was in. And I was like, I 100% don't belong here. And the more you think about it, like, or the more that I've learned since then, it's like, we really have to train ourselves like with the mental side of the game too. And that's not something I ever really had to do because like you said, like most of us are the best players on the other teams that we've played on. So I've since learned a lot about like what I need mentally, whether it's like reading books or listening to podcasts or just like talking to someone. So that's been like a pretty crazy journey for me too. But yeah, you're totally right. Like the mental side of the game is really important at the next level, especially in college as well. I know there's like a big push for, I mean, even at William & Mary, our strength and conditioning coach always preaches like body, mind, spirit. If those three aren't in sync with each other, you're not going to have your best training session or your best game. So I completely agree with that. But Nicole, talking about playing in Sweden for Allsång, what was your experience like playing in a different country? It was so interesting. So I got there. So I ended up playing there for like probably a year and a half on and off, just on like short-term contracts, kind of like bouncing around. And it was like the coolest experience because I had never like explored. I'd never been to Europe before. Like I went out of the country one time, like with tribe soccer actually. Like we were in Australia where everyone like speaks English and you're with all your friends, whatever. So I was kind of just like plopped into the middle of another country and I was like, what do I even do now? So like we would play soccer like maybe for 2 hours of the day, and then the rest of the day you're just like, you're on your own. Like a lot of the other girls on the team were working. So I just like, I had a lot of time to myself, a lot of time to explore and like learn new things. And it was just like, it was such a cool experience. And I think I was playing on a team that was like both times like kind of at a lower level. So like soccer wise, it got to be really frustrating. But I would say like if for anyone who has the opportunity to like go play overseas or explore other countries like that, like 100% take it. It was so cool and I learned so much about myself and about another culture and it was just awesome.
Flash forward to now, you just made your professional debut with the Sky Blue. You just finished up your Challenge Cup. What was this feeling like? Like, was it surreal? Like, were you like thinking about, a couple of years ago, I was sitting in a desk saying, I need to do more and I want to do more. I want to give more to soccer. And now you're here. What was it like going into that game?
Yeah, so I went into the Challenge Cup not expecting like 1 second of playing time. And for me, like that was okay. Like I'm someone who, like I don't need, not that I don't need, like everyone wants playing time, but I'm someone who's like okay with like embracing a role that doesn't include being a star player. So I was trying to go into the Challenge Cup just like being the best person that I could be, whether that was off the field or in practice or as someone on the sidelines, like cheering on my teammates. So for me, like I prepared like I was gonna play, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm probably never gonna step on the field. And I had to like learn to be okay with that. And so when my coaches called my name to start warming up, that's kind of what happens. So like you'll be sitting on the bench and they'll call like a name or two and be like, go start warming up. And at that point you're not positive if you're gonna go in the game. Mm-hmm. So I'm warming up and I'm like completely freaking out. But I'm warming up with another person. So like I still don't even know if I'm going in. So I'm like half panicking, like half excited. And then they call my name to go in. And there's really like only 5 minutes left on the clock. So I was just like, just get in the game, like calm down, complete your passes, like don't try anything crazy, just like keep it simple and whatever. And I get into the game, first play, I just get like completely tackled, lose the ball, like my first touch on the ball. And I was like, okay, that's over with. Like I got tackled. And from then on, like I just felt really comfortable in there. And as exciting as it was, like I didn't finish the game being like, yes, I'm so excited I won in. I finished the game being like, I want more, like I want to keep competing. I want to feel that again. I want to contribute again. And it just felt really good to be able to contribute in that way. And I thought that afterwards I would be like, yes, I did it. Like I made my debut, but I was kind of just like, all right, it happened and let's move on to the next game. Like we have another game to play in 4 days. So it was awesome, but it probably wasn't like as surreal as I thought it was going to be in my head.
Yeah, because you're playing and you're like, I have to think about getting in the game and doing the best that I can, staying within myself. I think that's something our coaches preach to us is know your role, but also just stay within yourself. Don't, like you said, don't try to get in the game, do anything crazy, just play your role. And I think that's something a lot of athletes can struggle with is not being able to accept your role and knowing maybe to even down the road that role might change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it wasn't particularly, I wouldn't say it's like easy for anyone to be like, oh, I'm probably not gonna play a lot here. Like, perfect, I love that. And that's also part of the mental game that like you kind of have to strive for. It's like, it's not always going to be easy. Like there are going to be moments where like you're upset or you're frustrated or whatever. So, but you just like, you have to work through it and you have to do what's best for the team. And once you like get to that point, which it took me a while to get to that point where like, you're just like totally okay with where you are. You also have to be at that point, but be able to continue to like push yourself to the next level. So it's kind of a hard thing to balance at times, but yeah, you're totally right. Like, knowing your role, accepting your role, it's all like very much part of the sport. And I think it's like kind of an undervalued part of the sport. So yeah, I just try my best to do that. And I don't know if I'm great at it, maybe. I don't know.
Nicole made 6 touches on the ball and completed 5 passes for an 83% passing accuracy from the midfield. I know everyone at William & Mary is cheering you on and supporting you, but I have to ask, what was it like being in the bubble, or what you guys, I think you guys called it maybe the NWSL Village?
Yeah, we called it like a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I wrote an article on the site called Just Women's Sports. I don't know if people who are listening to this will have read that, but I kind of like, and so I'm just gonna like kind of repeat what I said in that. But basically, when I first got to the bubble, I was like completely mesmerized. Like the facilities so we were in Utah, and the facilities were all like the facilities that the Utah Royals use, and like the whole like Salt Lake City organization uses. So when we got to those facilities, like I was completely in awe. Like even the hotel was like perfectly set up for us. The practice fields were amazing. The game stadium, awesome. Like the views of the mountains were amazing. Everything was just like so prepared and so cool. And like I was completely mesmerized because I was just playing in Sweden, where I was, like living with a host family or like kind of doing everything on my own. So when I got to the bubble, mesmerizing. And then after a couple weeks, like you kind of get a little bit exhausted mentally, just because all we could really do was like be in our hotel, be in the facility, or walk around the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And so I've read a lot about like, I don't know how much you guys have read about the WNBA wobble, mm-hmm. or like the NBA bubble.
Yeah.
And they're in Orlando, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And they are able to like go to beaches, like go on boats, like ride their bikes, go fishing in the lake. And that is so awesome, but that's not stuff that like we were really able to do. So I think that mentally the biggest struggle was just like finding ways to like escape the pressure of like playing soccer and escape like kind of what was happening in the bubble. So it was really just like, it was such an interesting experience. Like I would have one day where I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. And then the next day I'd be like, how am I gonna get through this? Like, I don't know what to do with myself all day. So it was really just like, it was a complete roller coaster, and it was like the most interesting, probably the most interesting thing I've ever been involved in. And I'm just like, I'm so proud that our league and like our Players Association were able to pull it off. Like they did such a good job. I felt like so safe the whole time. I never felt like I was like my health was at risk or my safety was at risk. And it was just like, it was so cool.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I feel like that's just such a unique experience to have at the professional level. I know that there are some colleges who are even talking about doing their own kind of bubble for even to play this season. So it's really nice to hear, even just from the professional level, how you felt and how your health was the utmost priority in times like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with the college level, like, yeah, it's so different because with the professional level, it's so much easier to keep people in this type of bubble. Like with college, you have like all these different aspects socially. But I think that like the NWSL really proved that it's possible to do this in a safe way, and it's possible for sports to return in a way that like is not at all going to jeopardize the health or safety of the athletes or the staff members. And so it was just like really cool to see our league set that example. And I don't know if the NWSL like really has gotten the credit for being the first like sports team sport back in the US, but in my head, I'm like, the NWSL did this first, and I'm not letting anyone forget it.
I will never let anyone forget it as well. Nicole, thank you so much for being here today, and good luck with your upcoming practices. You know that we will be following and supporting you every step of the way. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. That was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Boxing Out with Bailey. We will be back with more episodes very soon.